going on YouTube? It's Nikki the Bombshell Biker, and welcome to Halloweek. So this is the week of Halloween. I will be putting out a new video Monday through Thursday up until Halloween. And so it'll be a mixture of things. Makeup tutorials or spooky stories or any of those kinds of things. So I figured I'd start with a makeup tutorial. As many of you saw on Saturday night the 26th, we did a Momma Mafia live chat on the Garrett Ravens channel, and I was a Dia de los Muertos sugar skull. And so a lot of people really loved it. It was actually pretty easy, just very time consuming. And I kind of figured it's a nice easy way to get that Halloween costume down. You can dress it up, dress it down, and it's pretty legit when you're in a squeeze. So I'm going to walk you through basically what I did, and you can pick your own colors, and we'll talk about inspiration for it and blah blah blah. So come along on this journey. I'm going to do my makeup on camera. I'm not a makeup artist, so be gentle. I don't get paid to do this. I'm not a beauty whatever. I make motorcycle videos most of the time, but this is spoopy and it's fun and I like it. So we'll start with what I have to go with. So I have a foundation. I wear a pretty light foundation as it is. It does give me a nice like tanned look, so we got to layer over that, but that makes it really easy to get that white down. I also have a white compact powder. Got it from Spirit Halloween store, like $4 or something. I don't know, super cheap. I also have some purple eyeshadows. I have some Wet n Wild shadows to use. I also have 2 Kat Von D liquid lipsticks, a eyeliner pencil, a gel pot eyeliner, lots of brushes, lots of sponges. I kind of destroyed my sponge when I was cleaning it yesterday because apparently I'm brand new, but it's fine. So yeah, so let me wet my sponge real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, so I realized when I said wet my sponge that might have been a little confusing to some of our gentlemen friends. So when you use a beauty blender or makeup sponge, you have to get it wet so it doesn't absorb all your foundation. Just makes it easier for yourself. I don't make the rules, I just follow them, I guess. Alright, so the glasses are coming off, so now I can no longer see anything that's happening over there. Thankfully, magnifying mirror right here to help my blind self. So I'm going to start with some primer. Just like when you're painting a house, guys, you got to start by laying some primer down. Oh. It also helps keep your face protected and from drying out because I'm going to put a lot of powder on my face. And so when you're going out to a party, it helps your makeup last a little longer. So if you're going to a Halloween party this week or trick-or-treating with your kids or dressing up for work, it'll stay on the whole time. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to add some foundation to my face. So there's no like beautiful way for me to do this. I normally will just put it on my hand, smush it on my face. So I guess while I do this, because this part's just weird and I don't want to just have you guys awkwardly watching me smack my face with a sponge without saying something, I guess we'll talk about my love of Halloween. I feel like that's appropriate. So I have always loved Halloween. I think it has to do, my birthday is actually right after Halloween. I am November 4th. And I always loved dressing up. I remember exactly what we would do growing up. It was the same thing every year for a long time. So I grew up in Central San Bernardino, which is not a really ideal place to raise children. We had a really awesome neighborhood where we could go and we knew all of our neighbors and we, practically lived across the street at the neighbor's house with their daughters. They had 5 daughters and they were close in age to my sister and I. And so we would actually not trick or treat there for many years. We would go to my Nana's house, which is my mom's mom. And my Nana lives in Redlands. She still lives in the same house. And so we would go to her house. And on top of that, my dad worked sometimes 2 and 3 jobs when we were growing up. And so, unfortunately, that means that he had to miss stuff every now and then. Like, never the major holidays. Like, I always remember him being home on Christmas and always remember him being home for Thanksgiving. So he never missed those things, but the lesser holidays were very often you know, work things that he had to take care of and had to work through. And I remember he very often had to work graveyard shifts. And so when he was working graveyard shift, my mom was by herself, and having my Nana around to help wrangle two small children that are hungry for candy definitely is a godsend. That and my Nana was just the be-all, end-all to my sister and I. She still is. We still love her dearly, and we try and spend as much time with her as we can. But she, so we would go to her house in Redlands, and we would walk around her neighborhood. But our day always started, or our Halloween essentially always started, because my dad worked graveyard, so he would help us get ready a lot of the times if we didn't wear our costumes to school. And then he would take us to our mom's work, and we would trick or treat around her office, because at the time she had an office job. And then we would go over to my Nana's house. And so at my Nana's house, we would call my dad, because it was starting to get dark. So we'd call him, he'd take a break, and then we would, you know, talk to him about how it was at mom's work and blah, 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 blah. Just kind of catch him up on everything he'd missed in the last couple minutes, you know, because we're good storytellers like that. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add this white powder. This step is tedious because I'm trying to get a white base. It's powder. It's not easy. I grabbed the wrong makeup. It's fine. I made it work. It's fine. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to a party. You're probably drinking. Everybody else is probably drinking. It's really not that serious. But anyway, so back to story time. So we would call him and just catch him up. And then we would talk. We would then, you know, grab our bags and head out. And so we'd walk around and go do the candy thing and spend time with our mom and our Nana. I remember a couple times my dad was able to come with us when we were really, really little. Like very, very vaguely remember. And I remember still going to my Nana's house. I think only because she lived in a better neighborhood, in a better area than we did. And so my parents were much happier to take us there. And like, she lives in some really nice, near some really nice houses, and we got really good candy. But I always remember, like, when we would end the phone call with my dad, when on years that he couldn't be with us, he would always say, okay, like, be good, listen to your mom and your Nana, and don't OD on candy. Every year, never failed. And so, that's just something that's always stuck with me, and so, I don't know, it just always makes me laugh when I think about it. It's a weird, like, fond memory to have. Your dad telling you not to OD. And then not knowing what that meant. I remember asking my mom one year, and she was like, and I was like, does it mean overdo it? And she's like, yeah, OD means don't overdo it. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. And so, I don't know, that worked for me. I was easy to please, what can I say? So all I'm doing is trying to pack this crap into my face and look very pale, which so far, I feel like getting the job done. I'm not worried too much about like around my eye or my chin because I'm going to black most of that out. I'll have the black around the eyes and contour and all that fun stuff. So just thought I'd fill you in on that one. So my mom was really awesome, and she would make a lot of our costumes, and I now know that a lot of it was out of necessity to make sure we had nice costumes, because we didn't grow up with a lot of money, and we had a really great life because of my parents and the work that they did, the sometimes 2 and 3 jobs that they would work, side jobs and odd jobs and jobs together, and we would go out with them. And so sometimes that just meant that my mom would make the costume, and the other times it was because we wanted something that was not readily available. I remember one year I wanted to be Jasmine from Aladdin, but I didn't want to be Jasmine in the teal outfit that everyone knew her as, and that was probably very readily available in the stores. No. Didn't want that. I wanted to be the red Jasmine when she's stuck with Jafar, Which if that doesn't tell you about my dedication to the Disney World starting at a young age, I don't know what does. Also, this is making my hair hella white, which it won't be for long because I'll block all that out. So anyways, so my mom would then have to make our costumes, and sometimes those were easy. I wanted to be a ballerina one year, so she just had to buy a leotard and a tutu. Super easy. One year, my sister wanted to be a biker, and she wanted a full set of leathers. So she wanted chaps, she wanted a vest, she wanted fringe, all of it. Well, that wasn't really a costume back then, you know. Bikers were not known to be as friendly as we are nowadays. And so my mom made my sister a full little pleather set of chaps and vest and the whole nine. And that's what my sister was that year. She was a little biker. And, gross. And so we've been very fortunate. I remember one year I wanted to be Pocahontas. Again, Disney. And we could not find a Pocahontas costume anywhere. And I think it was the year it came out, which I don't remember off the top of my head. But I remember I wanted to be Pocahontas more than anything in the world. And so my mom, being the amazing mom that she was like, well, guess we're going to have to make this from scratch. And so my mom, very smart lady she is, needed a pattern because she was going to sew it. Because obviously you don't want me to fall out of it. You can't just duct tape me in. And so I remember her getting a paper grocery bag way back when. And she had me put it on like a dress so she could draw a pattern for it. But I was convinced, oh my God, she's gonna make me a dress out of a paper bag. Like, oh, all right, Mom. And she's like, Mija, just trust me. We're gonna make it work. I've never let you come out of the house looking bad, right? And I was like, no. And she's like, okay. So she paper bags me up, draws what she needs to. We make the right cuts to get the right shape. And away she went. So then, of course, I'm young. I forget a lot of things. Even at the time, you know, blissfully unaware of everything going around me, which is great, because sometimes still wish I could be like that. So anyways, she makes my costume and then shows me the finished product, which is the most awesome Pocahontas costume ever. I don't even think we have pictures of it anywhere, and she's not alive for me to ask, so that's kind of crappy, but it is what it is. I'm just going to brush off some of the excess powder. Alright, so I think I'm doing okay. I think that's about as pale as I need to be. It's packed on pretty good. Just grabbing a soft brush. Get some of that excess out of there. Also, before we move forward here, I have very, very thin eyebrows. Sometimes they don't even look like they're there. Sometimes they fall out. It just happens. So for me, I don't have to worry about them when doing this kind of makeup. If you are one of the fortunate people that has thicker eyebrows, you may have to glue them up with a glue stick. I don't have to, so I'm not going to. And also I don't want to anyways, because it's a glue stick and that's a nightmare to get out of your eyebrows. So, just a forewarning, you may want to account for that if this is something you want to try at home. Anyways, so, oh my gosh, I'm so soft and powdery. So she made this awesome Pocahontas costume, and I told everyone at school my mom was so cool because she made my costume out of a paper bag and it looked amazing. And my mom was like, Mia, stop telling people I make your costumes out of paper bags. And I was like, but Mom, you didn't. It was so cool. And I don't know. It's always one of my favorite memories. And she always would laugh when I would tell her, like, Mom, remember you made my costume out of a paper bag? And she's like, Nicole, I did not make your costume out of a paper bag. And it just always made me laugh because she'd always be like, oh my gosh. But you could tell, like, it just made her really happy and it made me really happy. So it was nice to share that with her. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to block out the circles for my eyes, those big black circles. So what I'm using is just a cheapy Wet n Wild eyeliner pencil. That's it. One of the little roly tube things. That's it. So this is not a fine-tuned process for me. I will have eyeball holes that look like cousins and not sisters, meaning they will not match most likely in shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. Skulls aren't perfect. If you've ever taken any kind of anatomy or anything like that, we are all very perfectly imperfect, so your eyeball holes can be too. So anyways, so while I do that, we'll keep talking. I'm just gonna try and draw this. So I'm gonna start, maybe I'll move this guy in front of here. You can kind of see what I'm doing a little better. So I'm gonna start right above my eyebrow and take it around, kind of like you're drawing big glasses. So below the eyebrow. And this is not, I'm going to go over this with a gel eyeliner as well to make it nice and dark and defined. And just follow your occipital bone down. Ta-da! I don't know if you can really see it that well, but it'll be more defined in a little bit. So we're going to try and do the same thing on the other side. We shall see. But anyways, so I've always just had this great love for it, and I was also a theater kid in high school. Surprise, surprise, I know. And so getting to dress up and be someone that you're not, even if only for one night a year, is always pretty great. Like, don't get me wrong, being Bombshell is pretty great most days. And even being just Nikki, also not too shabby. But I just always really loved the thought of getting to dress up and be something scary or spooky or, you know, someone I wasn't, and often it was a Disney princess. You see how lopsided these are? And often it was just someone I really liked, and there we go. That looks a little bit better. And so I've had some really fun costumes over the years. As an adult, I still dress up every year because 99% of the time I end up having to work. It's okay that also that I have this weird line right here because it's going to get covered with black anyways. So that is the magic of starting with a pencil and then doing it with the gel, because it just makes your life a lot easier. So gonna put that away for right now. We'll probably bring that back in a little bit. So what I will do now, I'm gonna start with the eyeshadow in the middle so you get a lot of that color, and so that way it's like the burst of color that kind of fades into the black, not just like solid black. If you're trying to look for something easy, solid black, totally fine. Your real eyes will still be there, so it's not like you're having to paint eyes on a sugar skull. So that's really awesome. I've seen a lot of girls online do like colored contacts. I have a really funny eye shape, and I only know that because I worked for optometrists for a while, and they told me like I was a nightmare to fit for contacts. So that's the only reason I know that. But yeah, so just be aware you can make it as easy or as difficult as you want to. If you're really good at eyeshadow and you've got the cut crease and blah 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 happening, like, handle that scandal. I am not. Like, I can do basic makeup and I can do this kind of stuff every now and then, but like, you're not gonna get like a cool glitter ombre fade from me. Like, I'm just gonna put some eyeshadow on and say ta-da, and that's what it is. I don't know what to tell you. So gonna go in with a fluffy brush. Not that fluffy brush. That won't work. But anyways, I'm gonna put some white down so my other colors will go over top that. But anyways, back to the stories. So I just, I still dress up every year. It was really nice to have an excuse, like the Momma Mafia live chat, to get in full costume makeup, even if it wasn't, exactly what I wanted it to turn out as. I was originally only going to do half my face. And I'm just really extra. I'm going to be honest. Just really extra. And I just was like, well, if I'm going to do half my face, might as well do my whole face. And then the fun part was that the beard, our shower was leaking. And so the beard, while we were doing the live chat, was working on our shower. And then he was not quite done yet when I got done with the live chat. And to which then I was stuck in the skeleton makeup for like 2 more hours. And all I wanted to do was rub my face and wash it and be clean. That was all I wanted. And I couldn't because I had no running water for a while. But it's fine. Shower's fixed. I'm grateful. Clearly my face went back to normal. And I went to work today without having to look like a skeleton several days early. I may have gotten tipped really well. Didn't think about that. Probably should have just worn my makeup. My skeleton makeup. Didn't even wear real makeup, really. I think I just put on eyeliner today. So, anyway, so I have been all kinds of things as an adult. I have been like a pinup girl, like a bombshell pinup girl, many, many years ago. I have been Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. I did Marilyn Monroe one year for my birthday party. Like I said, I try and do, if I do throw a party, I try and throw them for Halloween, just so we can utilize, like, everybody gets to dress up, including myself, and it's a fun excuse for them to come out and party, and then it just so happens to be close to my birthday, and I'm always okay with that, right? Right. So I don't think I dressed up last year, actually. I think last year was the first year I hadn't worked in a really long time. And I had taken vacation for my birthday because I was just really burnt out. I hadn't taken a real vacation in a while. And so I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to take a week off. And that just is what it is. And my manager was really great. And no, last year I'm getting my years mixed up. Sorry, last year I was Indiana Jones. What a moron. The year before that I didn't dress up. No, last year I was awesome. I was Indiana Jones, and I had the jacket and the hat and boots, and it was awesome. I wanted to ride my motorcycle to work, but there were like 30-mile-per-hour winds that day, and so I said, no, thank you. No 30-mile-per-hour winds for me. And then the boots I was wearing were not very, they didn't have good grip on the bottom. And also I had just foot pegs at the time, and so that did not sound ideal to me to ride like that. Also, the nice part about this part, I can be as precise or as messy as I want to, because I'm just going to end up covering it up with black around the outside of this, so I can get purple anywhere I want to, and it don't matter. So yeah, do you guys have any like funny Halloween costume stories from when you were kids? Let me know in the comments down below. I think one of my favorite Halloween costumes, and I can't believe I'm actually telling this story, and my sister's it's probably one of my sister's like least favorite moments. So growing up, Barney was a very big deal. Very big deal. And so I loved Barney. I wasn't always cool, okay? It happened. I wasn't like an unruly age for this either. Let me point this out there. I was within Barney age range. And so I really wanted to be Baby Bop, which was Barney's younger sister. Again, this was in a time that Baby Bop costumes, not a thing. I think they had Barney costumes at the time. I don't really remember because it was a while ago. And so my mom was like, okay, like, you have to be Baby Bop. And I was like, Mom, I have to be Baby Bop. And my mom, being the amazing saint that she is, said, okay, Baby Bop it is. And so she had to make me, so Baby Bop is a dinosaur, like Barney. And so she had a tail. And so my mom came up with the most ingenious idea, which I have to also throw this part out there. This is long before Pinterest and the internet was a thing. Well, like, the internet was I don't think the internet was really like readily available for like home use, or we just really didn't need it because like they both worked and they wanted to leave their work at home, which is fair. And so this was long before you could just hop on Pinterest and plan everything, and everybody had all these awesome ideas. Like, my mom had to come up with this crap on her own. And so she made me a pair of pants with a friggin' dinosaur tail, which was really cool. It was a pair of sweatpants that were green, like a dark, like foresty green. And she made the tail out of like stuffed animal stuffing and a green towel. And so like she wrapped it in a cone shape, and Baby Bop had these like bright pink polka dots on. And so she stuck those on the pants, and I had a green sweater too. Like just a Hanes or like Fruit of the Loom crew neck sweater. Like nothing crazy. And then like a headband. And I looked so freaking cool. And I just remember, sorry, my elbow locks up. So oh, there we go. I will do that and I look weird sometimes. So she had to make Baby Bop outfit and she killed it. And I'm gonna be really honest with you. I'm gonna be really vulnerable here. I wore those pants way after Halloween for a while because I really liked having a tail. It was so cool. My sister hated it. She hated going trick-or-treating with me that year because I didn't have a cool costume and I thought I was so cool. And I still wore the pants around the house. Just having one of those days, you need to be a dinosaur on the bottom. Some girls want to be mermaids, some girls want to be dinosaurs. I don't know what to tell you. I make no apologies. It was dope. And so I just remember my sister being like, oh my God, you're going to let her wear that? And my mom was like, I think I did a great job. And my dad was like, that's so cool, Mags. And it was so cool. So whatever. My sister didn't think it was cool. I thought it was great. I clearly was right. I'm just saying. So anyways. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the gel pot eyeliner and a tiny, tiny brush. And now I'm going to clearly define out those lines for my eye sockets. And we'll start blacking it in and giving it that skull look. So, let's see, what else? So we also, my mom and dad would dress up too every now and then. I remember one year we actually did go trick-or-treating around our house, which was really cool. And so my parents were always really active, and so they did things like ride bikes and stuff, like bicycles in like events, like they'd go do races and like 5K things. I don't know, it was a long time ago. And so my mom like wore her bike shorts and her bike shirt and a little fanny pack, and she's like, let's go trick-or-treating. And it was really fun. And like my parents as adults would go to like Halloween parties all year round. Like every year one of their friends would have a Halloween party, or we would host a Halloween party, and you know, they would dress up too, and I loved it. My dad normally will go as like one of two things really. So my dad is very country, as a lot of you remember from my interview of Nomad, and so Nomad often gets asked if he's like a character performer for a cowboy. I remember, this is not a Halloween topic, it's just funny. My mom worked at this place called Cabot's Pueblo Museum, and she was like a museum curator for this little tiny museum, and they would do craft days because it's a little pueblo that was built in this very small town that we lived, and so they would have vendors out, and Nomad also does, Nomad does a lot of things, but Nomad can do hand leather tooling. And so at the time he was really into it, and he would make these beautiful pieces of work and he would sell them. And so my mom asked him like, hey, we do this thing, do you want to set up your table one day, and on like the day we do the vendors and stuff, and sell some of your leather works? And he was like, yeah, sure, might as well. So my dad, being himself, got dressed like he would any other day and went to the event. And when he was all set up, my mom's boss came up to him and she was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice that you dressed up. And he's like, what do you mean I dressed up? And she's like, well, your costume, like, that's so perfect that you put that together so quickly. And he was like, oh, yeah, no, these are my fancy clothes. I only wear them for special occasions. And she's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, like the rising and setting of the sun and days that end with Y. You know, no bigs. And I remember her eyes just, like, glazing over and being like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, she saw my dad had two heads. But it was really funny. So my dad will actually, we used to go to Ren Fair a lot too. And so he would dress up as a peasant because peasants have more fun and they can party. And so he will often go as a peasant. He made his own kilt. Because why wouldn't he? Just, again, my dad does a lot of things very, very well. It's really disgusting. I hate it so much because he's good at everything. And I'm not good at most things. Like, I'm really funny. I'll give myself that. I'm hilarious, but I think that's only out of survival. There's something that says, like, second kids are always funnier because, like, we feel like we have to compensate for things. I feel like that's fair. Oh, my goodness. So, all I'm doing is just making myself look a hot-ass mess. Can't wait to put my face later. And I'll go in and fill that in. But this is mainly just to get that dark outer shape. And then I'll take some shadow and darken up the center. But anyways, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Keep chit-chatting with you guys. So he would always do that. My mom would change it up again. A lot of the time she was just a pirate. She had a pirate costume she really liked. And so a lot of the times as we got older, she would just be a pirate. One year she was a peacock, which was really appropriate. That was actually like her favorite animal. And my mom did stained glass. A very artistic parents. And I like to play with makeup apparently. I can't draw worth a crap. I have really great concepts of things, but to actually like execute them, not so much. But I have this wonderful thing called the beard. Not a beard, but the beard. And so he's really talented in that area. And so, and him and my brother, like, you know, I'm able to just tell them an idea or draw out the ugliest sketch you've ever seen. And they make those things a reality. And that's really awesome. I'm really very fortunate. And so, yeah, so she was a peacock one year, and she made lots of stained glass peacocks in her time. I actually have one hanging up in my kitchen. And my sister has the exact same one. She made two of the same one. And so my sister has one, and I have one. And now I look at it every day while I wash dishes. Or cook or whatever. Anytime I'm in the kitchen, I get to see my mom a little bit. So also, these don't have to be perfect. Because A, if someone's that close and is judging your makeup that hard, do you really want them to be your friend? A, do they have permission to be that close to you? B, is it really that serious? I don't think so. Oh my gosh. So, I don't know. But yeah. So, I know my kiddos really love Halloween. We alternate with their mom for Halloween most years. This year we are all going together to go trick-or-treating with our kids, which is actually really exciting because this way we all get to see them, we all get to spend time, and we all get to, you know, make those memories with them. It's really nice when you can co-parent that well. And ooh, I hope that as they get older, they realize how nice it was to have all four of their parents, you know, really work together to help them be better kids and better people and grow together. We're all growing together, which is nice. Ugh. Okay. That's pretty good right there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to darken that in a little bit. I'm going to take some black eyeshadow and just kind of go in and go a little bit closer to the purple. Oh my neck. There's no good way for me to do this and keep my posture. Sorry. I know there's probably is, and I'm just really bad at it. So I'm going to go in now. Now it works. Some black eyeshadow on the bottom. Maybe I'll do that purple glittery one too around the edges. I don't know, we shall see. And just blend it in. Well, this is going to be a while. So, I figured we should talk about some fun, spooky Halloween facts now that my eyes are done. they're as good as they're going to get for right now. What I am going to do, though, before I move totally forward, I'm just going to do a last little finishing touch up on my eyes. I'm going to do a wing eyeliner because I always have one. It's just normal for me. So I'm going to take that gel eyeliner again and draw a wing. But while I do that, we'll talk about some Halloween fun facts. So apparently the jack-o'-lantern comes from the Irish legend of Stingy Jack. Did you know that the first jack-o'-lanterns were originally made from turnips? I don't know why I've held on to that for so many years, but now it's in your head. You're welcome. Oh, look, I'm gonna go rob a bank. Like those old, like, vaudeville cartoons. They have all the black makeup on. So I feel right now. Anyways, so let's learn a little bit more here about Stingy Jack. Legend has it that Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him, but Jack didn't want to pay for the drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin. Instead of buying the drink, he pocketed the coin and kept it close to a silver cross in his house so the devil couldn't take shape again. Right. Get wingies. Good to go. After a year, Jack tried the devil. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So the devil couldn't take shape again. He promised to let the devil go as long as he would leave him alone for 1 year. And if Jack died, the devil wouldn't claim his soul. After a year, Jack tricked the devil again to leave him alone and not claim his soul. Basically, the devil's really gullible in this story. So, when Jack died, God didn't want such a conniving person in heaven, and the devil, true to his word, what a good guy, would not allow him into hell. So Jack was sent off in the night with only a burning coal to light his path. He placed the coal inside of a carved out turnip, fun fact, and has been roaming the earth ever since. People in Ireland and Scotland began creating their own creations of Jack's lanterns out of turnips, beets, and potatoes. The tradition came to the United States along with immigrants, and people began to use pumpkins native to North America for lanterns instead. Oh, I didn't know that whole background. I knew that they were originally from turnips. But I don't know why. I just know that I know this useless knowledge for some ungodly reason. So now I'm going to do my lipstick. I have very small lips. I do a lot of lipstick because it makes me feel pretty and I like it. I do this color lipstick a lot. It's like a dark purple on the outside to a hot pink. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'll try and sit up a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. If you can't, behind the mirror, you'll see the steps as I work up to talk to you. Alright, so while we'll do this, next fun fact about Halloween. Also, if you're a lady and you have small lips, you can always draw them on just a little bit bigger. And it makes a big difference sometimes. And it's not something you do the first time and you do it right. Let me tell you. It's not something you can do 100 times and do it 100 times right every time, even if you do it every single day. I draw my lips on a little bit bigger every day. Not always successful at it. Makeup wipes are a godsend. Alright, so I'm going to go in now in the center and just do the little bit of pink. And a lot of times, for this kind of look, your finger is the best tool you have. Because you're able to just blot it out. But then you have this problem. Beauty, am I right? Okay. So I'm just going to have a pink finger. It's fine. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw on the teeth on my mouth. I don't know why I couldn't think of those words, but that's what we're going to do. So again, I'm going to bring out the black eyeliner and the gel and just very gently draw little straight lines. So I like to start in the middle, much like your teeth, right in the center of your smile. You have that middle line between the two. So we'll start at the top. With relaxed mouth. And go a little above your lip line and a little below your lip line. Now we're going to just go to the sides and do the same thing. This just gives you that skeleton-like tooth pattern. And it just looks really cool, to be honest. Kind of wish I could just do this every day. Fun fact number 2, candy corn was originally called chicken feed. I could see that. I don't like candy corn. My late husband did. Every year he had to have it. Every year I looked at him like he had 2 heads. I was just like, oh, alright. You do you, boo. Alright, before I go too much farther, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Try and keep them as even as I can. Now, there are some girls on YouTube and Instagram that can paint individual teeth, and it's sick. I highly recommend you checking out some of those for real awesome like designs. I honestly assume most of you are just here because you want to listen to the funny stories. Not offended, not a makeup artist. So what we're going to do now, I'm actually going to do some shading around my face and give myself that sunken in look. Which if you're a girl, you probably contour. Probably a totally normal thing for you. If you're a boy, you probably may not know what contouring is. Contouring is where you contour the lines of your face. Give yourself little cheekbones, exaggerated features. It helps. It helps you it up. Us girls like that. We like to look. Don't look like you. Alright, so I'm going to go in actually with the black eyeshadow that we were using and a big fluffy brush. And I'm going to make some black cheekbones. I actually had to clean all my brushes after the first round of this. So they're all nice and clean, and pretty, and soft. And I'm going to fucking destroy them right now. So, you're going to see me make some funny faces. Sorry about it, I have to. So we're going to go in, follow that cheek line, and then I'm also going to color in the cheeks because skeletons don't have cheeks, y'all. So we're just going to black that out. And it's nice to not have to do that with the gel eyeliner. You can if you want a really exaggerated look. I don't. It worked out just fine for me to do it this way last night. I think it looked really good on camera during the chat. So here we go. I'm also going to bring it down just because skeletons also don't have double chins. Lucky. They do. Come on. Alright. Fun fact number 3 about Halloween. Trick-or-treating comes from souling. So having children dress up in costume and go door to door. Sorry, funny face alert. More funny faces. Like little beggars demanding treats is kind of weird. Like several other Halloween activities, the tradition can be traced back to the Middle Ages and rituals of Samhain. It was believed that ghosts and spirits walk the earth on the night of Samhain, so people would dress up as spirits themselves in an effort to fool the real deal into thinking they were one and the same. I actually talked about this a little bit on the live chat as to why one of the things, like weird Halloween traditions that we do is us dressing up. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. Bring that down. So, you know, you don't want to get your soul snatched. Mary, also known as the Geared Raven, talked about doing a Ouija board. Never have, never will. I have no desire to welcome demons in my home. Ever. I just don't. I know that sounds dumb. And you guys are like, she's being dramatic. You don't know who's knocking through that door. And you're just going to let them in? Not even seeing them? Hard pass. Also, one of the downsides of doing this all in powder, I kind of look like I have a beard. I mean, it's fine. I just have a beard. And also a black ear. Right. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, excuse me, I'm going to do the top of my forehead a little bit, because skeletons have that, like, that bone right there, your temple, they have that cut out when you look at them. So I'm just going to start right there at my temple, work my way down a little bit. You end up getting a lot of makeup in your hair, so if that's part of your costume and that's going to be a problem, maybe do it first. Your makeup first and then your hair. Normally I will, if I'm going to do my hair in like full bombshell mode, I will start curling my hair first, which means like I go through and curl the whole hot mess, and then I'll pin my curls, because a lot of the styles I do require your curls to set a bit more than just having them really loose. And I tease my hair a lot, and so a lot of the times, like, the more curl I have, the better. And so I will have to pin each curl individually to get some of those effects, because they just need a little more structure. Also, if that's something you guys would want to see, Bombshell, I probably won't talk through that whole one. We'll probably just fast forward. That might be something fun. We'll see. Alright. So I'm just going to do right there. Kind of rub that in a little. Again, hands, really great tools. Makeup gurus would probably disagree. Not a makeup guru. I'm a bombshell. Come on. My ear is so black. Can you guys see that? Gross. I'm gonna have to scrub my face so good again tonight. My face is probably so mad at me. I did this last night. I'm doing it again today. That's a look. Look, I'm like working on the bike. It's fine. I'll wash my hands in a minute. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I have these really cute dots around the eyes. That's kind of one of the markers of a sugar skull, is the decoration and all that fun stuff. I didn't go really heavy on the decoration because I ended up, you know, doing the contour and everything else. But I did do the bright colored dots on my eyes. So I'm going to go back in actually with the lipstick colors I used. And that's how I got those perfect circles last night, was just twisting that. So we are going to do that right now. Close that. Ugh. So I think what I'm going to do, be a little more extra than I was last night. I'm going to alternate the two colors. Why not? So let's start there. Maybe should have thought that through a little bit more, because this is going to be a pain in the ass. Oh, but it looks cute. Probably should have done that last night when, you know, people were looking. Oh, I fixed that guy. Oh, I got on my eyebrow. It's fine. This is fine. It's already falling apart very quickly. It's fine. But anyways. So you guys have heard some of my fun Halloween past stories. I would love if you guys would leave me comments in the bottom. And let me know if this is something you guys are like looking forward to, the Halloweek. Do you guys look forward to Halloween every year? Am I the one weirdo that's just like living for it? I mean, like, I'm fine being that weirdo. Don't get me wrong. But you're probably all just lying to yourselves. Just saying. Don't laugh. Crow's feet don't make good circles. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so are we ready for another fun fact? Let's see. That one wasn't fun. Nope, don't like that one either. Oh, that's kind of appropriate. Day of the Dead should really be called Days of the Dead. Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, where this look is inspired from, is actually 2 days. It starts November 1st and goes to November 2nd. And it's pretty fun. So when you're in like central Mexico, it's actually really cool because I don't know if you've seen the movie Coco, but if you go into central Mexico, their cemeteries are breathtaking. And I know that sounds creepy, but it's not. It's just, it's beautiful. Like, they have these big altars to their loved ones that a lot of the times they'll stay up all year, and these really like ornate crosses and headstones, and it's just, it's beautiful because it's not pictured as this doom and gloom thing. That dot got away from me a little bit. It's you know, it's part of living is dying. And does it suck? Yeah. Is it something that, there's my dog being an asshole, is that something that should be not celebrated? That's up for debate. I really we have an ofrenda in our house, which is an altar for our loved ones, and it's really helped me cope a lot this last couple of years, is having that, you know, those offerings there, and getting to share with my kids the things that they didn't get to know about my mom, because, you know, my kids are my stepkids, and so they have not been around her their whole lives. They missed out, really. And so it's nice when we are putting our ofrenda together that we get to talk about things that they, you know, missed out on. And this year we I like to do arts and crafts with my kids a lot. Arts and crafts are my love language. And we made little wax paper crayon stained glass pictures, which, if you're looking for a very tedious task, it's a lot of fun, but you will most likely destroy a cheese grater in the process, because I was really extra. And so what you do is, it can be done two ways. You can do it with crayons, and so what you do is you shave down the crayons, and then you put them between two sheets of wax paper, and you draw, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you draw a picture on wax paper on one side of the wax paper, and then you will lay the crayon colors down in the middle, and then you iron them, and it makes it kind of look like a stained glass. It melts it into place. It looks really beautiful. My sister and I did it as kids, and my Nana still had ours up like most of our life in her window, and it was pretty precious, and I kind of fucked up my pattern. That's okay. Again, didn't have to be perfect. Oh, okay. So I just had a little fun extra. That really is like Dia de los Muertos, the bright colors, and taking it from being scary to being pretty. Like, it's about kind of dispelling that fear. It's a celebration, really. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna add one more detail here. I'm going to add a spider web on the top, because it's just really, I don't know, I like it. So, oh Jesus, sorry Shaky, I'm not good at this like you are. I wish I could. That's actually something I really love to learn how to do, is to pinstripe. But again, I am not artistically talented at all. So, maybe one of these days. I'm hoping that's not just a talent thing, it's something that can be taught. Well, apparently not, because I already fucked up. And I think a lot of it is discipline, really. Because you gotta have super steady hands, and I know it's definitely a practice thing. Like, I don't necessarily feel like that's something you just like, ta-da, I can do. I think that's something you really have to like hone in your skill and work on. Ugh. Alright. Looking like a spider web. I am. So, I do recommend, if you have not seen the movie Coco, and it's something you're open to doing with your children, if you have loved ones that are passed, I think it's a beautiful way of teaching them about those people they may have missed, and it's a beautiful way of honoring those people. And it brings them into your home. It brings them into the present in a way that I think a lot of things don't. And I think a lot of our culture is not dwelling on it. And I don't think you should always wallow. I think there's a time and a place for wallowing, absolutely. And I'm a big believer in wallowing, but I also believe that we've got to live for them after they're gone. And that's something I try to do for all the people I've lost, my late husband and my mom. And, you know, my mom would be so disappointed if my life would been put on hold because she didn't get to be there. That's not the kind of life she set up for me. So, that's kind of like I'm gonna lead. But with that being said, I think we are done, boys and girls. It has been a while that I've been doing this. And I'm sorry this video has dragged on for a while. But if you stuck around this long, you got to see the finished picture. Pretty easy, right? Like, a couple lines here or there. Lots of black. Lots of just, you know, stamping stuff on your face. Not too shabby, right? So I do want to thank you guys so much for joining me on the first episode of Halloweek. I cannot wait for what we have coming. I might do some arts and crafts. Probably gonna go stop by a cemetery, say hi to some dead loved ones, you know, whatevs. So it'll be a fun week. We've got 4 days to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoy every single minute of them. I promise they will not all be this long, but thank you so much for sticking around. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the next installation of Halloweek. Bye guys, thank you so much. Oh, I almost forgot my goodbye. This is awful, sidebar, but just want to be a reminder, as always, stay safe, stay sassy, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.